this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. Today, I'm going to tackle the topic of the masculinization of African American women. That came on the radar a few weeks ago with Bishop T.D. Jakes saying that we're raising our women to be men. Black men have been calling black women masculine for quite some time now. And I don't think it's actually wrong to say that black women are masculine in the situation that black women have been in. Now, I want to start out by saying the masculinization of black women did not begin a few weeks ago. And the destruction of the black family did not begin when black women started getting college degrees or climbing the corporate ladder. The destruction of the black family began back in Africa. They divided those families before they got on those slave ships. The father went on the Spanish ship, the mother went on the Portuguese ship, the children went on the British ship, and the rest of the family was thrown to the wind to get on a French ship or any place that anybody wanted them to go. That was the beginning of the destruction of the African American family. What is amazing is that African Americans have done as well as we have in keeping the family together. Now, we need to get that straight right off the bat. Now, let's go to the plantation and see why the family wasn't able to stay intact. Whenever a husband and a wife can't make plans together because they don't know if they're going to be sold off or not, when you can't teach and discipline your children, you can't control your environment, you don't even have a say-so over where you're going to live, what you're going to eat, and what you're going to wear, you have already lost your family. So the white man assumed the masculine role over the black family. Now, in the meantime, the black family was still trying to survive. So now what happens when the father is sold because the plantation owner, who usually they were not good managers, they need money, so now they've got to sell some male slaves so they can bring in money to keep themselves propped up. So you got 5 males sold off to Louisiana or Texas, and that family is still on that plantation. Now, who's going to take care of those children? Who's going to manage and try to keep the family together? The black woman. So the black woman had to stand in the gap for the black family regardless to what the situation was. And black girls grew into being black women. So calling black women masculine, it might be actually appropriate. We have a saying in the black community that black girls are raised and black boys are coddled. But what do you think the ultimate outcome of that is? If you're raising the girls to be responsible, to be disciplined, to follow through and complete a task, and then you're calling boys and telling them, well, no, it's somebody else's fault. It's that teacher's fault. Or it's those kids' fault. Or he got caught up with the wrong crowd. That's going to stunt the growth and development of that boy. And it's a recipe for failure. The reason black women are called masculine is because black women have always stepped up from the very beginning. We go all the way back to Harriet Tubman, who got out of slavery. And then when she got out of slavery, she didn't just go on the talking circuit and make a name for herself like Frederick Douglass did. Harriet Tubman came back into the South to bring others out. Frederick Douglass didn't free anybody but himself. And there are records of other black men when they got out of slavery. They kept moving. They kept going. They kept going north, looking for a white woman in many cases. But when black women came out, they tried to help the others. A great example of the masculining of black women is Sojourner Truth, an enslaved woman. Sojourner Truth had 13 children, and they were sold into slavery in some fashion or another. In one case, she took a white man to court to get one of her children back. She was an abolitionist and a human rights activist, and she went around the country speaking out against slavery and against the injustices against women. She is known and celebrated for the speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" In that speech, she said, "I have as much muscle as any man and can do as much work as any man. I have plowed and reaped and husked and chopped and mowed. And can any man do more than that? I have heard about the sexes being equal. I can carry as much as any man and can eat as much too if I can get it. I am as strong as any man that is now. This is an enslaved woman talking, saying that she has to carry her weight. She has to carry the weight of a man. That doesn't mean that all of the enslaved women were as strong as a man. But this is what she was saying as an African American woman trying to survive. I have to do what I can do for myself and my children, because she was constantly fighting for her children. And what about Ida B. Wells? A small woman under 5 feet tall. But she had a big voice and she had courage. She was an investigative journalist writing for a black newspaper in Memphis, and she spoke out against the lynchings of black men in the South, to the point that her life was threatened and she had to leave Tennessee and move to Chicago. But this is a black woman, a masculine black woman, you might say, speaking out against something that needed to be spoken out against. And then we come all the way down to Rosa Parks, a black woman, said, I'm just not going to get up. You can arrest me if you want to, but I'm not getting up. These are just a few of the African American women who had to make some serious calls at critical times, and they were calls that needed to be made. So you could call it masculine, or you could call them brave women who rose to the occasion at the time to advance the cause of their race. These are revolutionary moves by women. All of these women's lives were threatened, but they did what they did to move the black race forward. Now, we had revolutionary black men all the time, but those men ended up getting killed. The black women could make a revolutionary move without getting killed. Somebody had to do this work. Look at what just happened in the Breonna Taylor case in Kentucky. That young woman was in her home in the middle of the night asleep. The police broke into her home with an illegal warrant and shot up that place, and that woman lost her life. And the Attorney General of Kentucky, who is a black man named Daniel Cameron, wouldn't even bring that case to the grand jury. He basically exonerated the people that did that without even bringing them to trial. So the black woman, Kristen Clark, working with the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, was able to get an indictment for those 4 people involved in the reckless way in which that woman lost her life. Now, this was an opportunity for a black man in power to make a masculine move, and he choked. And I'm just going to say that he just blatantly disregarded the life of that woman. So he was absolutely of no use in bringing justice for that family. So the black woman makes a bold move in a justice case, and the black man does nothing. So what does that make him? Are we going to call him feminine? And now that we're on the subject, let's look at what non-black women are doing in our society. White women are out here competing and scratching and clawing their way to the top of any ladder they can get to. Hillary Clinton is still mad as hell that she didn't get to be the first woman president of the United States. And white men are not mad at her. They see it for what it is, a power move. And the only ones that are really mad at her are the ones that are afraid to compete with her, because they know she's going to fight to win. When Sarah Palin was running for vice president of the United States, I think everybody would agree that she was colossally unqualified. But Republican white men supported her. They didn't see her as a threat because what she was doing was following the agenda. It wasn't about her gender. It was about the agenda that she was following, and they supported her. White women on the Supreme Court, white women senators, white women in the House of Representatives, both parties represented. White women trying to lead Fortune 500 companies. And I don't hear white men calling them masculine. They'll call them feminists, but they're not calling them masculine. But these women are working for the betterment of their race, and their men are not working against them. And look at the Asians. The Asian women are rising. You see them competing for these jobs. They're in the Congress. They're trying to get on the Supreme Court. They're trying to run businesses. Hispanic women are trying to get somewhere. There's one on the Supreme Court. And this AOC woman, Alexandria Cortez, this woman is trying to get somewhere. She's trying to get to the head of something. Indian women have thrown their names in the hat. Everybody is trying to get ahead, but you don't hear other races of men demeaning and degrading the women. But somehow black women are supposed to step back and let black men take their place. In some cases, black men don't even have the discipline or the character, really, to represent. Look at Andrew Gillum. This man was postured to become governor of Florida. And look what a disaster he turned out to be. So in closing, it is true that black women have had to do a lot of heavy lifting in the black race from the very beginning. Some of it was by choice, most of it was not. So if black women are masculine, it's because black women have really not had much of a choice. So trying to compare black American women to white American women would then require us to compare black American men to white American men. And we know that that's an unfair comparison. So if one of them is an unfair comparison, so is the other. And we have reached the point now that if we can't extend grace, if we can't extend respect or compassion to each other, we're doomed anyway. We are doomed anyway. So we have to make a decision about how we're going to proceed, because tearing each other down is really not the answer. It really would be better for people to go on and make their lives with some other race of people, because this really doesn't get us anywhere. I would like to know what you think about this. Please let me know. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.